Welcome everyone to Bad Wig Stories Made Good. I'm Corina and I'm here with my co-host Emma. Hi Emma, how are you today?
I'm great. Got the sunshine blasting in, so very happy.
You are fantastic. Well, it's summer over here in the UK and we're in the middle of a heat wave, and so if you see some sweat hanging down, or maybe it's just a hot flash or a nice sweat for the poor ladies out here.
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. All right, so what's our bad work story for this week?
Well, this week we're talking about a situation that I heard in terms of a recruitment situation.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is when a recruitment situation that went, I suppose, bad in a way. So a leader had applied for an internal promotion, went to the interview, and the panel was cold and formal and conducted themselves as if they didn't know him at all, which was weird because the panel was made up of a boss and another leader who he'd worked with on a cross-functional project. So the candidate was expecting, yeah, exactly. The candidate was expecting a warm reception. I mean, his application had been encouraged and accepted. And so he felt positive and prepared, but the mood was not welcoming.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Okay. So what would this person like from us? Like, would like some perspectives on how he could have handled differently, or what was the thing?
Yeah, well, definitely. The interview didn't go well at all. And the candidate was busy trying to work out, what was going on? Like, what was the best approach? Was it mirroring the coolness of the interview panel or bringing the warmth and familiarity of their working relationship that they usually had? So, he was trying to multitask in the middle of it, and the whole approach blindsided him.
Well, so how do we make this bad work story good?
Yeah, well, from my perspective, I think getting fully briefed on an interview process is really important. So finding out, are there external candidates and internal candidates involved in the process? Sometimes they do only internal candidates first, but your HR contact should be able to help you get ready. And then post the interview, give feedback through your HR contact on how it went for you. Whatever the decision, and especially if you're unsuccessful, then, there might be feedback that you can take on board that could go into future development and training and, obviously your growth within the organization. So I think that's an important process. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well,
what about for you? What do you think, Corina?
I think you're being far too kind.
Really?
I think that situation absolutely friggin' sucks. I mean, seriously. So we've got some stat. We know that this person was. I think in the pre-conversation, you said this person was a high potential. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that what is in his notes?
Yeah.
So here we have a high potential candidate who's worked within the system, who's known to at least two out of the panel, how many there were, and it's a cold. It sounds quite hostile in terms of the experience that this candidate had. Am I off the mark? But that's what we heard from him, right?
No, absolutely. Sounded hostile.
Right. So I'm thinking, like, what the frig is going on?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, seriously, how are you actually communicating to this individual that you actually value and appreciate them? What are you actually measuring in those situations? Yeah. Like how to be subservient, how to shut up, how to be, play the good boy role. Like, I mean, it's, people might say, well, that's just your perspective, Corina, and this is what happens in organizations, right? And I'm sure it does, but that doesn't mean it's right. Like, what is the brand? I mean, I don't think we have details on what is the brand of this organization.
No.
Right. So if the brand was cold and impersonal and informal and testing and brutal and any other kind of words, and as a panel we're superior and dehumanize you and unfriendly and pretend we don't even know you, then Okay, maybe, right? So that's at least it's congruent and consistent and aligned with what the brand is. But if the brand isn't, then what the frig is going on?
Yeah.
And even the kind of the integrity, honesty of saying, hey, candidate, so we know each other. This, like being creative in that environment to really, what to test and what are you testing?
Yeah.
And I really think, recruitment of that kind of level needs to, you know, it
Yeah.
needs to be disrupted in some way and done something different. I don't know. What do you think when I
Well, I
say
mean,
that?
interviews are definitely two-way. I mean, the reality
Mm.
is that you
It
are checking
doesn't
each
sound
other.
too way.
No, it doesn't.
This sounds like just there and shut the frig up.
Yeah,
Like,
but a good interview is a two-way where you get to know each
mm,
other and you
yeah,
get to decide, is this a good fit? It's not like dating, but it's similar. You are committing to an organization as a candidate, and they're committing to you as employers. So you should get just as much good feel out of it as the testing in terms of your evaluation and part of
mm,
the process. So yeah, it
yeah,
does sound pretty one-sided.
yeah, very grim, and I thinking,
Yeah,
like the courage, you could take it two ways in that, wouldn't you? You could be quite cheeky and courageous, but of course I understand there could be consequences there, right? You want this job, you're applying for a reason, right? You want a promotion, you want more responsibility, your growth, increase in salary, all of that kind of thing, and may feel very connected to the mission and what this role is entailing. So you don't want to kind of, that fine line between I want to be accepted and approved of, but I also want to be my own person. So what's my own integrity in this, and how far do I go? And so one extreme be, well, to be able to say, hey, look, this is a really uncomfortable process. This is not what I signed up for. This is not the brand of our organization. You know that what I'm capable of. Maybe other people on the board don't, or the panel don't. So they could, ask you various questions. But actually, God, if I was sitting on that panel and that happened, I would be really impressed with someone saying, that kind of like disrupting, like we are better than this.
yeah,
But of course, I understand it's a high risk, but I want to pick up something you said earlier, which was the debrief process. Because, like after an interview, everyone says, oh, how was it? How did it go? Like good vibes. And just to go, it was brutal. It wasn't. It wasn't a good reflection of what we stand for this company, in your view. That so being able to feed back, whether it's to I think you mentioned HR or to wherever, how where do you put this kind of information,
yeah,
so I think there's layers in there around what are we really standing for, and what in your own integrity and own value structure. Maybe integrity is a bit of a big word here, but maybe your value structure around kindness and or even being able to say, I just occurred to me, like being able to say in front of that panel, like I don't know, they probably have questions and things, and just say, go off script a little bit and go, I would just like to say this was a really intense experience, and I don't mean a good one.
mm,
To actually say your piece
yeah,
in the room
yeah,
to the people. So it's kind
yeah,
of like an exercise in powerful speaking.
yeah,
And you
absolutely.
know what? If I was a fly on that wall, or God forbid, in one of those chairs, I'd walk away and go, that is the type of leadership we need in our organisation. Oh, I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's like that is what we need, not people who just sit there and freaking take this. Oh, oops, take this stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there's definitely, I mean, I think bravery and bringing yourself to an
Mm,
interview is really important rather than, yeah, jumping into the box that's created by the organization or the
mm,
interview. I think that's a
mm,
very, very valid point. Well, I
mm,
think there's definitely some things there for you to try and to take away and to consider. And yeah,
mm.
remember, you are making a choice, an employment choice when you go to an interview. So yeah, you've got to feel comfortable. and
Yeah, and encourage you, and you can speak your truth in a really nice way, and you can still be respectful, and and link it to the values and brand of the organization you're working with. Because sometimes people can go, oh, well, that's just what Corina thinks, or that's what Emma thinks. But if you link it in and embed it in the values of the organization or the brand that you stand for in the marketplace, then that really gives you very strong, deep references that it's just about you, and you're being a sore loser or whatever it is. So that could really be a nice lesson for the powers. Yeah, that would be my input.
All right. Well,
All right.
remember, if you've got a bad work story that you would, like our perspective on, please get in touch or send us information, your stories. We really want to help. And if it's more personal and needs more urgency, then contact us directly.
Contact, yeah, we're here for you. It can be tough, so we're here for you. Yeah. All right. So until next week, take
Bye
care.
for now.
Bye. Bye.